Hello, YouTube. I am back. I've been gone for some time now. I had to take the last 2 weeks doing some work out of town. Uh, a lot has happened since I was gone, but one of the biggest things I saw that kind of pissed me off was how everybody said that this comment right here was too much. That Trump had gone too far. I'm just looking at this. I'm going, this isn't that much. It's not really that big of a deal in my mind. I see this and I'm just saying, yeah, he's calling them out for being or having TDS. Now, of course, he's saying that the anger he caused others um, may have caused the death. I don't know if he's saying that actually. From what I hear or read right here. Let me just read it. A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away, together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession with President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before. May Rob and Michelle rest in peace. Now, this is a lot more than Rob would have given Trump if Trump passed away. It's a lot more than a Democrat would have given any Republican if a Republican were to pass away. We saw this with Charlie Kirk. Um, when Charlie Kirk died from a political assassination, and everybody now knows that he was going to become the VP. There was a plan in place. He was going to be VP and potentially president in the future. So, really, it was a political assassination through and through. And the Democrats didn't seem to give a shit, and all they would do was talk shit. And Republicans had to defend their guy. But what really enrages me is that now we have Republicans talking shit to Donald Trump because Donald Trump wasn't nice enough. Even though Donald Trump said, may Rob and Michelle rest in peace, it's not enough. I guess Donald Trump should have gotten on his knees and said, oh my God, how could this happen to Rob Reiner? What an amazing guy he was. How great of a man that man was. You can't just say, hey, rest in peace, which is more than Rob would give a Republican. I have proof right here. Whenever Rush passed away, he doesn't even say rest in peace. He doesn't say, oh my God, this is terrible. It sucks. Died from, what was it, cancer? I can't remember what Rush died of. He died of some disease. And, you can't be like, oh my God, this disease, it afflicts any good American. It could happen to anybody. May he rest in peace. No, his only comment was, Rush is gone. And then he goes straight into politics and talking about how evil people like Rush are and talking about climate change, which recently even Bill Gates has come out and said, climate change, that's probably because he got some money and something that would go against climate change, but that's neither here nor there. It just shows that the whole climate change thing is a bunch of bullshit, not affected by a bunch of bullshit, not affected by really us in the grand scheme. And by us, I mean Americans. But yeah, Rob Reiner clearly wouldn't give time of day for any Republican. So it's crazy to think that Trump should have to bend over for some guy who was killed by his own son in his own house. And it's sad. I like Rob. I was a big fan of Rob's movies, specifically The Princess Bride. or the Princess, whatever the fuck it was called. I'm not that big of a fan. Clearly, I don't even know what I'm talking about. The what was it? I'm gonna have to look this up right now. The Princess. Oh, what was it called? God, I can't believe I don't remember this movie. Clearly, putting in the princess is gonna help me out here. What was it even called? The Princess? I'm trying to look up Rob Reiner. Let's go to his little wiki. And it's sad that his son murdered him. But I'm gonna argue that Trump isn't wrong in saying that it was TDS that killed him. I don't think anything here Trump says is really wrong. Of course, he shouldn't have said due to the anger he caused, but calling out Rob for having TDS isn't wrong. It's true. Now, as we all know, Rob for years said that Trump was a Russian asset. Um, he said that Trump was controlled by Russia. He was basically saying that Trump was an enemy of the United States of America. And look at this here, late night TV host Jimmy Kimmel, the guy who mocked and ridiculed the person known as Charlie Kirk, and made jokes about him on stage right after he had been shot in the neck by a deranged leftist who probably watched Jimmy Kimmel and was listening to Jimmy Kimmel called people like Kirk fascist. He called the remarks hateful and vile, even though Trump told or said for Rob to rest in peace along with his wife. Yeah, that's very hateful and vile. But whenever you go and mock Kirk for being a quote unquote fascist and Nazi, that's not hateful and vile at all. That's, they're just hypocrites. That's all Democrats are. Basically, my argument here is that if Rob had spent half the time he did criticizing Trump, helping his own son, um, maybe his son wouldn't have killed him. Now that's just speculation, of course, by me, but clearly his son needed help, and Rob wasn't giving him the help he needed. Instead, Rob was a little too focused on politics and everything else other than his son. Uh, that doesn't mean that TDS killed him, like Trump said. So maybe Trump's a little wrong, but it didn't help him. It didn't help him with his son. It didn't help him with the policies. Being against Trump is almost being for drugs being flooded into our country at this point, because even when Trump is going against cartels, the other side has to go and support the cartels and say, hey, no, you can't do this. You got to let them bring drugs into our country. So maybe if he wasn't so TDS blind, he could have said, no, maybe it's a good thing that drugs aren't coming into our country. Maybe it'd be a good thing if my son didn't have access to drugs, that are flooding in from other countries, that maybe he wouldn't have been drugged up and wouldn't have slit my throat. Now, of course, that's just speculation. Maybe there's some other family shit that went on. We'll all find out soon because, the trial's still going on. But clearly his son was drugged up, needed help, and Rob didn't give it to him. He didn't get his son the help that he needed. And just the way that Rob lived probably just allowed his son to continue to abuse substances. But yeah, I mean, rest in peace, Rob. Like I said, he was a good actor. He was a good American. Just because I disagree with him doesn't mean he wasn't. But that doesn't mean we can't go back and call him out for having TDS. And that's the difference between Republicans and Democrats. We can call the other side out and still be like, oh, yeah, they did good things. But they can never call out a Republican or a conservative and say, oh, well, they had some good things here. It's all bad or nothing with them. But yeah, that's all I got to say. I hope Rob has had a good passing and that he is with the Lord now and in heaven, and that America we can all move on, get the drugs out of our country, get the help that all Americans need, and hopefully nothing like this happens in the future. Oh, my dog sees a squirrel outside. You can hear him in the other room. Uh-oh. He really wants to go get that squirrel. Yeah, it is the Princess Bride.